grab a cup of coffee, and meet your next favorite author. Nothing's off limit on Hot Seat. Good afternoon. We're welcoming today Susan Lee, and this is Sarah Andre and Lark Brennan, hosts. And we both read See You at the Sunset, which releases on August 11th. And we found it thoroughly delightful. So do you have the cover? Can you show us the cover and tell us about your book?
I am so sorry. The cover is not sitting here with me. Was I supposed to bring one?
No, that's okay. No, that's fine.
The book is about Jia Chung, and she is kind of a free spirit. She just got terminated from her job, and this is not the first time. So her parents are fed up. They're saying, come back to Florida. We're going to help you find a new job. She's absolutely not. So she flees to Palm Springs to live with her grandmother, Mimi, in a senior community called Sunset Hills. And across the street, a new young guy is moving his grandfather in. And when she gets a look at his face, she realizes she had an anonymous one-night stand with him just a couple weeks earlier. And then when she meets him, his name is Henry Shin, and he's the name on the termination paperwork that she had from being fired from her job. And they're stuck spending the summer together in the heat of the desert with a bunch of meddling octogenarians. And love blooms in the desert, and they meet at the sunset.
I love the premise, the fact that he is the reason she is fired. Here, by the way, it's in black and white, but here you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So our first question is, now you do a really great job. She is free-spirited. She eclectic dresser and has very strict kind of helicopter parents, if you will. And he is very buttoned up, very emotionally guarded. Who are you most like?
I would say, so I come out of corporate America. I'm a full-time writer. When I was in corporate America, I was the rule follower. I just believed that I knew what the end game was always going to be, and I was working hard towards that. So I was definitely more like Henry. Now that I'm a full-time writer and, I kind of work at my own pace and at my own schedule, I think I'm a lot more like Gia. And I love that in the course of our lives, we can always change and grow and become new versions of ourselves. So I really loved exploring both sides of their personalities.
Nice. I love it. And I love the metaphor of the luggage that, by losing her luggage on a plane trip, she just becomes a completely different person.
Yeah, she used to be very obsessed with how she presented herself because it was really the only thing she felt she could control. And when she loses her luggage, basically she's shopping out of her grandmother's closet and is dressing in muumuus all day, and has kind of lost that grip on hiding behind the outfits and just really
the
finding
identity.
herself. Yeah, and then finding herself anew.
Yeah. Oh, I thought that was fabulous. Well done.
Thank you.
You do a great job of creating the retirement community and its charming inhabitants in Palm Springs. Why did you decide to set that in Palm Springs?
So Palm Springs is my favorite place on the earth. And ever since we were young, I live in San Diego, so it's about a 2-hour drive. And ever since I was young, my dad would bring us here in the summers, always at the hottest point of the summer, because it was the cheapest and it was the least crowded because everyone leaves. Half of the businesses are closed because it's just too hot. And my dad's like, well, it's cheap. We'll just sit in the pool all day. And so I just have always come to the Palm Springs in the summers. I'm here right now, actually, on vacation right before my book launches. And it always imprinted on me. And there's just a lovely community of older people here. And I just think they're living their best lives. And it brings me a lot of joy.
It's kind of a retro location. I was there a few years ago.
Yes.
And that was one of those moments where I felt like I've been dropped back in the 50s.
Yeah, well, it's known for the Liberace house, and Frank Sinatra used to hang out here, and
Frank
it's
Sinatra,
modern, and it's it's got that whole history. It's very much not gentrifying, but becoming more modern now, which breaks my heart a little bit. And this actually, writing "See You at the Sunset" is an ode to preserving still some of the quiet, really lovely moments of Palm Springs, Yeah, and so I love kind of the dichotomy of there's great places to eat here now and really lovely places to go out and get a cup of coffee, but there is still, they managed to preserve, they still have the Marilyn Monroe statue, and I love just even the kitschiness of it all. It's just a fun place to be. I really enjoy
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. I was there in 2019 for a Deepak Chopra conference, and I
Oh my
remember,
gosh.
yeah, it'd been a long time. I used to spend some time there in the 90s, but you're right. It's just like old school,
Yeah,
old charm. Yeah.
love it.
So now, what is
So
your writing process?
Okay, so I was not an early reader, or had I ever studied to be a writer. As I mentioned, I used to work in corporate America, and I kind of fell upon romance novels as I got into my 20s and 30s. And I think I just had noticed that there wasn't a lot of representation in romance at the time, and I wanted to see stories both for young adults and adults where girls who look like me and grew up like me could be the heroine and can find love. And so I am not kind of the most disciplined writer. I don't lean heavily on, what part of craft should I be thinking about right now? I actually, I feel like stories kind of present themselves like movies in my head, and I just start writing them down and like, what would I see next in a story like this? I kind of was raised on K dramas, which are really, they're serial episodic shows that just up the drama and the conflict every new episode, and but they still have a managed to have a sweetness to them, and a tenderness with the love stories. So that's really where I think like the influence for me as I'm a writer.
Right. You write and then the story really evolves in your edits, or you do very few edits, like just spelling corrections?
I mean, it's interesting, kind of in the middle. So I'm a pretty clean drafter. So when I draft, it doesn't need a lot of fixing, but I'm also a very lean drafter. So I never really have a full book when I turn it into my editor.
Hmm.
I have
Hmm.
a concept of a book, and sometimes a chapter will be empty, and I'm like, I think this happens here, but I'm not emotionally ready to go there yet, and so and then she'll send it back and say, fine, write that. Let me know when you're ready to write that chapter. So I think I build. I'm more of a builder when it comes to editing than I am cleaning it up. So it's a very lean draft. I build on it. I usually have a good 20, 25,000 extra words that are added in that editing period. But I don't do a lot of changing. And I feel like, I don't know how I landed on that kind of process, but it works for me.
That's great. No, we've done the same thing. We are critique partners of 20 years,
Oh,
and we'll just put sex scene here and
yeah,
then just go on. Just like,
exactly.
we're not ready for it.
Yes, not ready. Yeah, you have to be in a certain mind frame for certain things, whether it's the, I always am ready for the meet cute, but I'm not always ready for the grand gesture. I'm not always ready for the emotional, like, like conversation with the mother, or, any
Sure.
like confrontation. I'm not always ready for that. So
Yeah,
sometimes I have to put it aside and wait till it hits me.
yeah.
and
Excellent.
sometimes you have to know your characters to know how they would actually behave in that
That's
situation.
exactly it.
And
Yeah.
and I always write my love scenes the last because then I really know who they are, and and I'm never ready for it when it
Yeah, that's
comes
so
up.
true.
Of
It's so
course,
true. And a lot of times they start to reveal themselves to you, and some like even critical little things like it doesn't even until like the second or third round of edits, I'm like, oh, that's
Right.
really what she's battling with. And sometimes I try to tell myself it's what they're battling with, but they reveal it to me later along the line.
Spoken like a true writer.
If you say so. I have immense imposter syndrome, and so it's like,
I
okay,
know. Oh, crippling, huh?
yes,
So you've done YA. You have three books out, and then you did your first adult,
yes.
and that was Julia. Julia is
Song is undateable.
undateable, right?
Yeah.
And now,
wait a second. You have to tell us a little bit about that book.
Sure. So, I will kind of touch on the what I believe your question is going to be. I'm actually not a big YA reader. I don't have any children. I wasn't a reader as a kid, as I mentioned. I do love adult romance, but when I started writing, I felt a kind of responsibility to tell some stories for young people that empowered and gave agency to especially young Asian girls. And so my first, two stories were YA, And then my agent's like, let's keep building this brand. But I had already written at that time, Julia's Song is Undateable. We just sat on it for a few years before we decided to go to the market with an adult. I'm adult romance reader. I actually find a lot of joy in writing adult. I find a lot of satisfaction in writing young adult. So, it serves kind of two sides of me. But Julia's Song is Undateable is really about a CEO. She's a driven woman, very successful, great at business, terrible at love. She speaks her mind. She makes men cry on dates. She's very honest. And she turns 30, and her parents, this is a very Korean thing. You come home for someone's birthday and they're like, oh, you're not married yet. Or, it's like you are never successful enough until you've kind of marked off these to-do lists. And it's really like an introspective romance where you're asking who made up these like checklists of what success means for a woman, and why are we still going by these, and why is it so crippling? And so she talks to her neighbor, childhood neighbor, and he is, his brother's very successful engineer, and he is unemployed and living in his parents' basement helping his dad get through cancer treatment. And it is really kind of like trying to flip on its head expectations of people in their 20s and 30s, expectations of women versus men, kind of a power dynamic where she's the one who makes the money and has the title and he doesn't, and how do they each deal with that, and the fact that he's a good dater and she's not. She thinks she's undateable, and he helps her practice on dating for these men that her parents are setting her up with, and they ultimately realize that they fall in love with each other. So,
Susan, I'm totally going and buying it after this show. And that sounds so
cute. I think it's so funny. I really love it. It's very, very, very rooted in reality. As zany as it sounds, it is. I think I would say a typical Korean family, but from what I've met readers, a typical immigrant family, and also sometimes just a typical family of women, children. It's like there's a lot to explore, but it's a lot of fun.
Oh, that's fabulous. I love it.
I think it's kind of across the board. I mean, a lot of parents. My mother was, when are you going to buy a house?
Oh yeah.
I mean, and it didn't matter what else I did. When are you going to buy a house? And I think there's different cultures and different kinds of families have a different standard for when you are an adult or when you've made it. And that feels like it's a lot of fun book.
So Pardon? My father was he was an immigrant and a very hard worker, and I kind of hit really a pinnacle for my career. I was in the C-suite of my company as a chief human resources officer, and my dad was very proud of me, and he passed. And then when I wanted to become a writer, it was during COVID, and I had decided to give up my entire career and start over as a writer when I first got my first publishing deal. And the one thing I always say is, my dad would have never allowed me to do that, but the way he lived his life gave me the courage to do it, because he had left his country. He was an engineer and came and became a mechanic. It's like he did everything. He made a lot of sacrifices to live the life he wanted to live for his family as well. And I think it would have disappointed him if he was alive when I gave up my career, but I want him to know in passing that he lived the life that gave me the courage to do it. Like, I just never would have done it if I had never seen it, my father having done it too. So
I love this. And the fact that he did it so fearlessly.
Yes.
And you are now too.
Yes. I mean, and so when you talk about kind of like generational differences and cultural differences, I mean, even today, post-COVID, where younger people are becoming digital nomads and all of these different things, I think I want to challenge the notion of there was one way to be raised and one way to be successful and one way that we all end up being like, oh, you're married with children. And I want us to be able to say that's right for some and not right for others. And no one person should apologize, because I used to always say, oh yeah, I don't have kids, and I was like, why do I have to feel like I'm the one who needs to explain it, and so I like to challenge the notion that we all get to determine our path. We get to pivot if we need to, and that's okay. So
and it's your version of success, the end. Yes. Fabulous.
Or the
now
journey.
Let's talk about your tour, because I looked it up just before this program. You are crisscrossing the United States every single day.
I know.
So you're going to New York City, to Miami, Florida, to Dallas, Texas, to someplace in Utah, and it just goes on and on and on.
Yes,
Have
yes.
you ever done a tour before?
I did. This is so I've been very fortunate. I have pretty supportive publishers who, and some people I think they just do better in person than potentially like just on the bookshelves. And so this will be my third major tour. It's the first time that I'm doing kind of a full 2 weeks of tour. I'm very lucky. I have a lot of author friends who are so great and saying, "Yeah, we're there. We'll be your in conversation partner. Let's do this together." And it's actually really fun to travel with your friends. So that's really lovely. And I love to meet readers. But I like to surprise people. I think like people don't really know what to expect from authors until they meet them. And I feel like being able to tell my whys of the stories that I tell, saying that in person is much more, has made a bigger impact than me just typing it on a social media post saying this is why I write the books that I do. So I'm very lucky. I'm actually quite an introvert, and I am a little bit I have a lot of social anxiety. So it is like the buildup is often hard to get myself to really be pumped up about it. But I'm never regret after I'm done. I'm always just so grateful that I get that opportunity. So
good. Good.
Well, I'm sorry you're not coming to Houston.
Oh, me too. I'll be in Dallas, but not Houston.
That's a long way from Houston. People don't understand how big Texas is.
I know. That's the same with California. I'm like, oh yeah, those aren't close at all.
So when you do these tours, you said you were in conversation. So who are some of your friends that you're going to be in conversation?
Oh gosh, I feel honored and really proud to have some of the best bestsellers in romance today as friends and mentors. So I'll be doing events with Allie Hazelwood and with BK Borison, with Christina Lauren, and a dear friend of mine, Julian Winters, who also writes YA and adult, and Adriana Herrera. So just a really great lineup of authors. Yeah.
They're all going on tour with you. You guys are meeting
at different locations. So yeah, and some of them are doing multiple locations, so it's really fun.
Neat.
Oh, that's great. That's great. That's a lot of fun, and it's really important to have writer friends.
That is
because
I mean, like you guys.
On those,
yeah, you're on like having.
But on those days when you're thinking, "This is awful."
Yeah. With the process,
yeah, it's good to have those writer friends to support you and just
yeah, and being able to commiserate with people who've gone through it. And some of these authors have written way more books than I have, been writing longer, and I feel both friendship and mentorship. I also feel like I love their books. I'm also a fan, and yeah, I feel very lucky.
Yeah. Oh, fabulous! I hope you have a great time.
Thank you.
We are actually coming up to our HEA Happily Ever After hot seat question, but I just wanted to remind the viewers that See You at the Sunset releases on August 11th, and you have an amazing website, so I hope everyone checks you out. And that's at is it SusanLeeWrites.com?
Yep, I am Susan Lee Writes everywhere. You can @ me there or .com me at my website.
And you have something which you kind of have put on hiatus, but viewers, you've got to go to the tab that says, check out these custom Keebs. And it's her custom keyboards. She does different colors.
I build mechanical keyboards, and I like to color them up and make them just really lovely and match people's, aesthetics and their hobbies. And yeah, I like to
love
keyboards.
Check it out, viewers. Like and subscribe too. All right, go, Lark.
And okay, your hot seat question.
Embracing myself.
Gia begins the book loving fashion, then loses her luggage. What kind of wardrobe do you prefer, New York or Palm Beach? And which of her outfits would you wear?
Oh gosh, I am very much a New York dresser. I don't like color or like prints at all. But I have been newly introduced to muumuus, and I just have to tell you, the fact that I don't have to wear any shapewear underneath, that it's so breezy. I mean, if I could find a black and white muumuu, I mean, that's probably like a priest cloak or something. But yeah, like I'm a black and white girly, but I love the free flow of a muumuu.
All right, then. There you
Well,
have
thank
it.
you so much for joining us.
so
And
lovely.
all of
Thank
your
you.
links are in the show notes. So if anybody's looking to find you, they can go to the show notes and everything is there.
Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Susan. Good luck on
Susan.
the tour.
Thanks.
Okay.